I just remember the doctor like cursed us out. He like cursed us out, and then he was like, I don't know what you want me to do, and hung up on us.
What kind of words was he using?
Expletives, bro. Like, it was pretty crazy.
Such an obvious monopoly at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, you actually have to be very brainwashed in order to believe this medical system is actually for the good of humanity.
What are the most common messages that you get?
Okay, so if you want a very simple answer,
Yeah.
diabetes definitely gets the most ranking of DMs.
I finally got serious. Like, Dr. Reese really spoke to me. He started talking to me. He's like, this is what you need to do. Chiropractic care is not like, it's not it, basically. And when I started to take it seriously, that's when I found out I was like, these little exercises, they're so powerful. It's like I saw my body change within like a couple of months. People are just hating Dr. Reese. And this man is just sitting there talking slow, peaceful. He's not yelling at anybody. It's like these people, they don't get it. And he says it all the time. I'm here for people that get it. Hey everybody, it's Coach Shawn with the Peace Over Pain Clinic. I'm here with Coach Levi, and we're just going to give you a little insight about Levi and Shawn. So without further ado, let's get into the first question. So Levi, how did you get your start? Like, what made you go down the path of alternative medicine and even start becoming a health coach to where you're helping people get out of the medical monopoly carousel?
It's a long story, but if I had to shorten it up, I mean, it would be, I was very sick with a lot of health problems. I had gut problems. I had back pain problems. I had massive depression, massive anxiety, massive confusive thinking. I feel like a lot of people have that these days, just like thinking about the past all the time and like just hanging on to things. That was a big part of my problems. Trauma, different, I feel like everyone has like a similar story, but it was mainly, I feel like, all centered around the gut problems I had.
Yeah.
That took me off into going to the medical monopoly for some sort of relief or some sort of idea as to what was happening with me at the time. And I went to a doctor visit. They obviously, they're 15-minute appointments. They just want to get you in and out. And they didn't ask me anything about my diet or my lifestyle. So I picked up on that really, really quickly. And they prescribed me drugs, Boostprone, I think it was called, and there's an antidepressant. I didn't want to take them. I didn't really care to take any drugs or pharmaceuticals, so I eventually just stopped.
Wow.
I never took drugs. I just stopped listening to them, I guess. I didn't really. So I knew it was going to be on my own. And ever since I just started my research and found people on Instagram that were promoting the message, the good word. And the reason I'm now promoting this is because it worked for me. I got the health results. I applied the advice and it worked. I went organic. I tried a lot of different things in the alternative world before I got involved with, the 90 essential nutrients and quitting the 12 bad foods Ryan's got, but we say it's the poor 4. It's been a wild journey. I used to take mushroom. There's like mushroom extracts, mushroom pills. There's Shilajit pills and like sea moss and all this stuff. I was doing that for like 6 months. Along my journey, I went organic, and I spent hundreds of dollars on these supplements, all of them. And then I hit up Ryan Alexander is the guy that got me into this, and he was telling me the whole spiel about, you know, how CMOS and all this stuff isn't enough. That shocked me. So I wanted to start promoting this word because nobody really knows about it. Nobody really knows how the body can heal itself. And people underestimate this
Yeah.
a lot. And I know I was in your situation, you know.
Yeah.
I know some things. But so, yeah, I'm almost sure it's the same situation with you.
Yeah, basically. I was in college when it happened. So like, I was in college and I had to do a medical withdrawal basically because I couldn't even get up and go to class anymore. My mom had to like carry me into the class. And so we went to the doctors and, it was kind of the same situation. But like, it was just the doctor. He was weird. He was just like, we kept asking him like, is there anything else we can do? Because nothing was happening. None of the medication was working. And I just remember the doctor like cursed us out. He like cursed us out. And then he was like, I don't know what you want me to do. And hung up on us.
What kind of words was he using?
Expletives, bro. Like, it was pretty crazy. I was surprised. Like, I was shocked. I couldn't even react. Like, what do? You're like sitting just in the car trying to talk to your doctor and he's just cursing you out. And so from there, I was in like a college town. So I just moved from there to back home and started searching for other routes. I was still seeing a doctor. And so I was about to go down that path, like, you know, biologics and all of that. And then my doctor, I really liked him. His name was Dr. Webby. He actually died taking the same medications I was taking.
Wow.
So yeah, they put me on like chemo pills and stuff like that. But he died.
How long were you on that?
For about 2 or 3 months. Yeah, it was not good. So this was me, like, because our family was heavily into the medical field. Like, we relied on them for everything, all of advice. So it took a while for us to like recondition ourselves and say, oh, okay, there must be another route because this is obviously not working. And so that was the wake up call. I don't really talk about that a lot, but yeah, I really miss that man. He was a cool guy. He didn't force me on anything, but I woke up when I figured out like it was just one appointment. I was like, okay, can I make an appointment with Dr. Webby? It was in October of 2020. And they were like, we're going to have to find you another doctor. He just like within a month, bro. I was just talking to this guy. So that's when, yeah, again, I just realized it's over. I got to find another route or I'm going to end up in the same position. Started searching. My mom found Ryan. Same way. So yeah, we both got trained under Ryan. I started, doing things for Ryan, learning.
I just want to say Wallach's Warriors is Ryan.
Yeah.
For everyone that doesn't know.
Yeah.
On Instagram at Wallach's Warriors.
Yeah, he's a really good guy. He taught me like everything and I started to do my own little health page. And I did all of that, but I noticed like I felt great on the supplements. Like, a lot of the symptoms disappeared, but it was like after a while I plateaued and it was something I was missing. And so fast forward, this is around the time where I was just, kind of regressing back because like if you lose a certain amount I had a lot of blood transfusions. So like, it's like I can only do holistic for so long, but when my blood gets so low, it's either I die or I have to go to the hospital and get a blood transfusion, like, because I'm losing blood and I'm not in a position to where I can absorb to make new blood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was the situation I was in. Dr. Reese reached out to me and then he helped get me on the protocol, on the program basically. And I still didn't understand it. I just thought, oh, this is just something that I can do on the side with chiropractic care. Man, that was the worst decision of my life. It's $5,000 on a chiropractic, regimen. that didn't work. And finally, in like it was either October, it's between October and like November. I finally got serious. Like Dr. Reese really spoke to me. He just started talking to me. He's like, "This is what you need to do. Chiropractic care is not like it's not it, basically." And when I started to take it seriously, that's when I found out I was like, these little exercises, they're not really even exercises, but they're so powerful. It's like I saw my body change within like a couple of months. And it was amazing. And my symptoms finally got better, and I finally got over that threshold.
What
And
symptoms were plateauing, I guess?
I was still having like bowel incontinence, basically. Still bleeding, still my energy was still like so and so. Just what else? And still not absorbing well. Yeah. And so even like if I took the most enzymes in the world, it was still like an issue, a large issue. Like I still saw like I wasn't absorbing. You know how the trick between tangy tangerine, if you have like the neon, I don't want to get into, but like if you see neon, then that usually means that you're not really absorbing it. And I noticed it because I didn't like my energy levels would plateau again. And fats I couldn't really absorb. So that was
Yeah, so the
mostly,
postural therapy kind of took care of a lot of like,
yeah.
so it really alleviated things like bleeding and
Yeah, it's literally a therapy. Yeah, like, well, I feel like it basically helped with absorption. It helped with the pressure on my gut because I had that forward pelvic tilt, and that's when I just started to notice my digestion got better. Um, I didn't have a lot of indigestion. I wasn't suffering from that anymore. And it was just because I was doing those little postures, laying on the ground for 10 minutes. Not really, but you know what I mean? It's like just so simple. But I believe that's why a lot of people don't really see how powerful it is, don't really take it seriously because they're like, you're just like doing these simple exercises. But these simple exercises change your whole life.
yeah, muscles will bully the crap out of you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And you experience it. And he says like, you know, you got to get through the pain to get to the peace. I feel like that's on brand, but I feel like it's deeper than that. It's not like actual pain. It's like detox because your body's been in this wrong position. These channels, whether it's blood or lymphatic, have been stagnant or like restricted for years. And just to open that up, that's like opening up the floodgates. But for a good thing, for you to be able to finally experience that peace. So, yeah. And then, yeah. So like after I experienced that, I was like, I gotta do something, you know, I really want to help. I feel like that's the least I could do.
It's like a rabbit hole. Like once you figure out, like once you've healed and lived the experience, like how could you do anything else? I mean,
Yeah.
it's so liberating.
I wouldn't wish any of what I experienced on my worst enemy, man. That was too much. That was like, I was on the, on the edge.
It's a literal disability. It's like, it's torture.
Yeah.
Having digestive issues or having really any symptoms, health symptoms. I mean, there's so many things that we don't experience, and you know, like diabetes. We've never had diabetes. We've never had Alzheimer's. You know, there's certain things, but just the access of information is just such a blessing. Such a blessing. I mean, just being. But it took a good amount of research. It took like a lot of suffering to get to where we're at right now.
Yes.
So
yes,
it took a lot of confusion and sorting out information and doing it all on our own. So like that's why it's just amazing to be a part of something that helps people understand that much better. You actually get a coach, you know. We were pretty much coached, but there's only so much you can get at a certain point if everything is just for free, you know. Like there's with Ryan, he's got so many people in his DMs, so it's like he's only going to give you so much right there because he's got other people to get to. So, but I would have much rather wanted a coach to speed up so many of my results. I could have gotten healthier way faster if I was just like on something.
Yeah.
On the program that is,
They're telling you what to do. It's like, do this, like guiding you on. Because I know if you don't have an answer to something, it's like, where do you go? Like, it's this specific thing and you got to wait to get an answer. And it's just like this whole process you have to go through. And like, everybody has a specific situation. Nobody, all of these cookie cutter protocols that are going out in the holistic field, it's like everybody is different. You can't just assign somebody the same thing and then expect them. Like, everybody has a very, very unique situation.
Oh, yeah.
So I wanted to ask, get into the next question, basically. And it's about, because you've been talking to people a lot, even before I came in on the Dr. Reese, the Peace Over Pain page and stuff like that, or your personal page. So what are the most common messages that you get?
Okay, so if you want a very simple answer, diabetes definitely gets the most ranking of DMs. And if I had to have like a second place, it would be people reaching out for their parents that have dementia. Yeah. Which is a very, very rough situation to work with. You know, at most we just, sympathize with you and point you in a direction and hope that you're in a position to, take care of them in some way. Because that's the first thing I ask her is like, are you taking care of this person? Like, if you don't have care of them, if you're not responsible for them, it's super hard to do anything, really. I mean, we won't even accept that. I mean, if you threw money at us, we wouldn't accept you because it's just, we don't think it's going to work for you. If you don't have the resources to commit to this for that person. Yeah. But if it does happen, that's such a miracle story. So, I'm never shut down to those people reaching out, no matter what DM comes at me, even if it's kind of a rough DM. Sometimes we get those people that are just, skeptical, or those people that just want a protocol right away. But, I like to help everyone. Yeah. Yeah. Everyone's got to understand the message at some level. But
I mean, we understand it. I started off skeptical when I came to Ryan's page. I mean, I was just like, I didn't like curse him out or anything in the comments, but I didn't believe anything he was saying until he actually took the time to break it down to me. I think that's the one thing that convinced me that this guy was different, and it's really influenced me to be like him. Just give people the information they're looking for. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've been working with us for a while, and I want to know, because you do a lot more of the messages than I do. Yeah. What's the best advice that you could give someone? Like, there's only so much advice that we can give people legally, because it's hard practicing as a clinic that's holistic in a medical dominant ruled monopoly, whatever you want to call it, system. What's the challenge, the biggest challenge, and what do you recommend the person starts doing as a first step?
I would say first, the biggest challenge is in a short amount of time trying to teach people about Dr. Reese's philosophy, because it's like nothing anyone has ever experienced. It's the first full body, and he calls it head to toe, but I believe it's how holism should be how it should be practiced. He's dealing with all of the body all at the same time, from the brains to the bunion, like he says.
It's really hard to just teach anyone the different perspective like that we share,
Yeah, I mean, people are used to that palliative treatment. They're used to that drug or herb for set symptom, instead of zooming out and realizing these symptoms are just alarms. And instead of turning off the alarm, like going like, okay, we got to just turn off this alarm, going to what the alarm is actually warning us about. So I just think like that's why the discovery analysis are so powerful, because he's basically creating a map to the X marks the spot. This is your root cause. This is what's exacerbating all of that. And it's an experience. Like, I feel like everybody should get one. A lot of people just get emotional, or a lot of people just like, wow, I didn't know all of this was happening to my body. Wow, you just pointed out my posture. A lot of people think it's just a posture analysis. You're getting down into nutritional deficiencies. You're getting down to your absorption issues. You're getting like, there's so much you're getting out of this one analysis. And that's just getting away from the question, though. I do feel like, yeah, the challenge overall is being able to teach somebody, like, and get them to like slow down, and like, you have to understand this in order to like get into what we're trying to present to you. So like getting them into the diet, first off, that's where I see like a lot of significant change. Just people, it's not even a diet really, it's just, you're just avoiding inflammatory foods. And what I always explain to people, and I explained this to you earlier, like, you're putting out the fire, basically. You're taking out all the inflammation. That's what inflammation essentially is. Taking out all of the inflammatory foods so your body can finally start to heal. Your body cannot heal while there's a fire. Like, you got firefighters trying to put out a fire. They're spraying and trying to put up a fire, and then the construction crew is coming in and trying to build while the fire is being put out. You can't do that. It's impossible, man. And so that's like an analogy for what's going on in the body. You're trying to insert all of these healing nutrients while the fire is still going. You got to have clear the fire out, clear the mess, clear all of that out before you start to heal. You can only start to heal when you stop the inflammation.
Yeah, it's really the realization that the food that gluten, the food and oils, and all these junk food and all that stuff, people might think that their body can handle it because people have been living for all this time on the junk food, but the human body is able to take so much.
Yeah.
So much. I mean, people can be an alcoholic for 40 years, and after all that time, they can regrow like 95% of their liver.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's remarkable how much the body can heal and how quickly of a time. And we see people heal quite rapidly. I mean, but these foods do way too much harm. We'll just take gluten, for example. If you can't absorb nutrients because gluten's inflaming your intestines, if you're not absorbing essential fatty acids, that's the main nutrient to go right away. This is going to create a host of problems in and of itself. So if you eliminate the food, if you eliminate the inflammation, the cause of the problems, one of the 7 causes, then that's a really great first step, because how are you going to absorb the nutrients anyway if you're taking them?
Yeah.
How are you trying to build the house, build the body back up?
Exactly. And it takes a long time for the body to even get rid of these toxins, like more than a month. Like for gluten, it can be like 3 to 4 weeks. And so
Oh yeah, all that petroleum and the Skittles with the blue 40.
Yeah. Just it's crazy, man. It's crazy what they're legally allowed to give us and then complain when we give them nutrients or herbs. It's like, whoa, what are you doing there? It's like you have Skittle vending machines in your doctor's office and you're worried about like herbs. You're worried about nutrients, like stuff that's found in the body already. I don't know. It's just
It's
pretty
just
crazy.
such an obvious monopoly at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, you actually have to be very brainwashed in order to believe this medical system is actually for the good of humanity. I mean, they're very wonderful with infections. They kept you alive.
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for them.
No, for sure.
But infections, surgeries, things that are absolutely necessary in emergency, God bless them. They're very wonderful with all of that. But when it comes to anything chronic, it's just they have no idea how can you reverse diabetes?
Mhm.
They have no idea what the cause of anything is. You can just ask Dr. Google, it's not there.
Good old Dr. Google.
You're gonna have this. You look it up, and it's such a hopeless machine. You look up your disease, and it says there's no cure for this.
Mhm.
And so people accept that because it's just easier to accept something and move on than go on with the fight and try to change your life. It's a lot. You did it. So I mean, it's a lot to go through. Go through and the healing process and all that stuff instead of just taking a pill to alleviate the symptoms and have the easy way out.
Yeah.
So it's a difficult process. All in all, I mean, this whole all stemmed from what's the challenging part of converting people is really just the brainwashing. It's the lack of mindfulness. People are stuck in a rat race.
Yeah.
They're stuck in their head,
Mhm.
to put it simply.
Absolutely. And I think that's why this can fold into like the comments where people are just hating Dr. Reese. And this man is just sitting there talking slow, peaceful. He's not yelling at anybody. He's not doing anything, that you think would put on for people like just dogging on like for no reason. It's like these people, they don't get it, and he says it all the time. I'm here for people that get it. For people that get it, and then they come along with us. And the ones that don't, like, we can only do so much for.
Yeah, we're finding our people.
Yeah, we
Really.
saving who we can, and it sucks. Really, it sucks. I wish I can help everybody, honestly. But there's just some people, and you can't really even blame them. Like from the moment they were a child, they've seen doctor TV shows, doctor movies. They go to the doctor, get a little candy treat from the doctor, or like a little sticker with their favorite superhero. It's like, they're my hero. Doctors come to school all the time to like, talk to them. And like, it's a deep programming, and you gotta like, for some people, you can only do so much for. But for a lot of people, they're waking up, and you can see that in the comment section as well. It's like, it's not just one-sided. There's like a lot of people that are defending Dr. Reese that get it.
What would you say have to be is like the worst platform of comments? Like,
oh my
people
gosh.
like sending death. People send death threats to Dr. Reese.
Yeah, TikTok is like the Wild West.
I find Facebook is pretty harsh
Really?
too.
Facebook is so harsh, but they'll like, it's weird. Like Facebook, they'll say something, and then or whether you respond back or not, they'll just like not say anything back to you, or like you probably just won't see them again. It's like TikTok is like, it's recurring. You know what I mean? They'll like keep at it over and over again. Like it's their job to to like, I don't know, put Dr. Reese down or something like that.
It's the pawns of the medical monopoly.
Maybe, man. Like you never know.
Might
like,
just be some bots.
Exactly. I'm convinced because they like it's just weird. It's like user 459 whatever.
I always agree with people. Like I agree that, I understand, I guess, that there's a lot of studies, there's a lot of research, there's a lot of money that's been invested into this $1.6 trillion industry. They have the most sophisticated research, all this stuff. I understand where you're coming from. Like, how can we not believe these people? Like, we literally have the best system in the world. But then all you got to do is look at a statistic of the United States and how long people live on average compared to other countries that are third world.
Yeah.
They don't even have a medical system.
Yeah.
They're just living off of grandma's method whenever someone gets a disease. And we live, I think we're like in 16th place in the world.
Something like that. Not even top 10.
It's not in the top 10 of longevity. So obviously we're doing something wrong. When you look at it that standpoint, and like if you look at the other standpoint of how many people are dying each year just from malpractice of this alone, 200,000 people die at the hands of doctors because they mistreated them or they somehow malpracticed on them. Yeah. That's not even including the amount of millions of casualties that happen. Really, really at the end of the day, it's a really broken system, and it's getting very overwhelmed. I even see this at the Hartford Hospital. I went, I just hear stories from the guy I picked up when I went there.
Yeah.
And it's just crowded. He was put in a hallway. He didn't even have his own room. There's inmates right next to him. It's just, if I was in that position, I would not want to be in a hospital. If I'm going to die somewhere, it's not going to be in a hospital.
Yeah.
But it's a very broken system. To get to the point, it's very misleading. People think that they can trust it because it's backed by the government, backed by a lot of different things. But if you just do some simple research, you find that pharmaceutical companies are tied to insurance companies, and this is all just a big scheme to suck the living blood out of you and literally in the money and everything. It's horrible. So being here is just such a blessing because we take people from this broken system. It's actually something that empowers me every single day to keep doing what I'm doing, because there's like with anything in life and business, there's ups and downs, and that's one of the things that boosts the hope of all of this, because everybody's wondering, how long is this medical system going to last for? How long are we going to all just put up with this? So no matter what it takes just to convert even one person that's like hateful in the comments or something like that, it's still worth it just to like agree with them, accept where they're coming from, and provide information, provide your side of the argument.
It's a rescue team.
Yeah.
We're saving people from the fire. I did want to get into something that is becoming more controversial, especially because it's in some of our supplements. So basically, I'm going to ask you first. So I want to, get into it as well because it's a big topic. So citric acid, what's your opinion on it? And how do you feel about it?
So people are concerned about a lot of different ingredients and supplements, and this is actually something that I was concerned about when I was getting into the 90 essential nutrients, and specifically it was natural flavors for me.
Yeah.
Because I heard that it's not so natural. It's made in a laboratory with other chemicals. But citric acid, I heard the rebuttal for citric acid from Ryan, the guy that introduced us to all this stuff. He, by the way, is like a scientist. I don't even know how to describe his level of intelligence, but he looks into this stuff like Dr. Wallach's offspring. I mean, he's like, the amount of basically any ingredient argument means that you don't understand where it's sourced from. You don't understand the amount of research and money invested in all this stuff that's been put into these supplements and how high of quality these are. People say, well, they're not organic, but you don't realize this is corporate America. It costs money to put an organic label on products, and especially it'll jack the prices up, which Dr. Wallach does not want. And for anybody that's new to Dr. Wallach, he's the pioneer of all these supplements. He's the guy that did all the research and gets all the credit for that. And this guy went through a lot. He did tons of research. I mean, if I was to go into it, it would take me 2 hours to explain his story.
Yeah.
You know, it's just too much. But when people complain about citric acid or something, it's really, they hear that it can be derived from black mold. I hear that's one of the arguments people have with it. And really at the cellular level, a cell is going to recognize citric acid as the same as, it doesn't really matter where it came from. If it came from black mold, it's still going to be the same, whether it came from that or an orange, the natural way. But it's still mold. It's still, in a way, natural, but made in a lab. Everything is somewhat made in a lab. Everything is somewhat processed. That's not my solid argument. My solid argument is like, Dr. Wallach's put his life's work and energy into this. So why would he want to source it in a wrong way? It wouldn't make sense, because we get all of these testimonials and results from these products. So if it's so bad, why are all these people healing?
Yeah.
You know, it's really, some people also have a problem with citric acid. They believe they're intolerant to it. I hear that's an argument as well. Food intolerances are definitely a thing, but something like citric acid, you would need like a specific blood test in order to see if you're actually allergic to it. But if you're having a problem with citric acid, you got a problem with your digestion. Which means you're either lacking nutrients or your gut's leaky. It's leaking a bunch of proteins and all that stuff into your blood. And there's ways that you can work around citric acid if you're in that position. You can get on the minerals, you can get on the vitamins. I wouldn't be concerned if it was me and I was reacting a little bit to citric acid in the supplements. I wouldn't really care as long as I'm getting the 90 essential nutrients. Like, that's, in my opinion, more important than you reacting to citric acid. I mean, citric acid would have to inflame your intestines to be bad for you, which it's perfectly capable for getting broken down in your stomach acid. So I don't see any way that it would be harmful to you. Maybe it causes a reaction of sorts, but some people have a reaction to the supplements because this stuff is potent.
Yeah.
This is tons of plant-derived minerals that are in a colloidal form that are extremely absorbable for you. And your body's like all of a sudden getting the shock of nutrients it's never had in its life. Some people are 70 years old and they have never had a nutrient in their life, a rare earth mineral. That's just because it's impossible to get anything from food these days. Most nutrients these days, because of tons of bad farming practices. But anyway,
I agree completely. But I would also argue that a lot of what this skepticism comes from, is basically just people getting any type of supplement that they find. Like, whether they go into a random store, they don't really know much about it. They're just getting these supplements that they don't know where they're coming from. I mean, this is not like managed by the FDA at all. So they're not,
Yeah.
they don't know where these supplements are coming from. They don't know like the true formulas of what's being made in these supplements. You're just getting cheap supplements. And a lot of these companies don't care about you. They just put it plain as day. They don't care about you. So a lot of those companies probably were getting their sourced citric acid from like mold or whatever.
Yeah,
But
a lot of these supplement companies are actually owned by big pharma.
Yeah.
So
there's plenty of videos about that.
Yeah.
So many videos. And another argument with citric acid is that citric acid is not just there as like a preservative or whatever. It's not just there because it needs to be there. Oftentimes, citric acid is there because it increases absorbability. It's needed for absorption of certain vitamins and certain minerals, zinc, magnesium. These things are essential for like, because we think about it, there is no, you go out in nature, there's no vitamin C fruit. It's not a fruit with just vitamin C. It has numerous amounts of nutrients, like 100 plus nutrients, different nutrients and compounds in it. And these compounds all work together to help digestion. That's why Tangy Tangerine has like all of these, it has like that vegetable and vegetable powder in it and stuff like that. Because like to absorb minerals and vitamins need cofactors. That's what a lot of people I feel don't understand. And a lot of what's in certain supplements, you're like, why is that even in there? It's in there to help absorption. It's in there to make a complete nutrient so it's bioavailable.
I think the biggest thing for some people is mindfulness too.
True.
They get way too technical about the biochemistry of your body. I like to say that and use that term because it is chemistry. It's like, you know, I like to picture Walter White in Breaking Bad is mixing all this stuff. Like it's, you have too much of one thing, you're going to have a symptom. You know, you have too little of one little nutrient, like you're going to have a symptom. It's a very complicated thing to understand. So it's wonderful to have, you know, the access to the source. The people that put the time into creating these supplements know what they're doing and know exactly how much of each thing you actually need.
Yeah.
Per your body weight.
Well, we can also go into when people are basically scared to eat certain foods or take certain nutrients because they have a gut issue. And it's what a food, and we went into this a little bit about earlier, but yeah, like what exactly is your approach or your, what do you have in your head about people that just are fearful of, you know, trying certain foods or trying certain nutrients because they believe that they're, you know, intolerant to it. They can't
do it. Yeah. It's a fear, and I've lived with the fear personally about gluten. I actually have dreams of eating gluten, and then I wake up and I'm like, thank God I did not eat gluten.
Oh my God.
But you know, there's some times where you're gonna slip up, or there's sometimes like it's gonna get contaminated or something. But that's just a fact of life, and it's a matter of acceptance. Like I need to accept that I need to go through pain in order to see peace and see my body heal itself.
Yeah,
it's a matter of mindfulness and calming down the inner child when it's acting up to just accept and be grateful for it, your journey and everything. I mean, we're gonna work with you. If you're one of our clients, you got a coach. You're gonna report to your coach every single day if you need to. What's going on? How do you feel now? We got the total support there.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't recommend going on your own for doing this, because even if you do blood tests and everything, it doesn't show it's an experiment. Everyone's an experiment, because that's one of the recent people that I've been talking to said. They're like, how do you know this works for everyone? Well, we approach the body head to toe,
Mm-hmm.
and the body's going to heal itself.
Yeah.
But we need to figure out what your intolerances are. That's the main. I don't really know what else separates people, except if they have maybe a birth defect of the pancreas or type 1 diabetic. Other than food intolerances, I don't really see many differences biochemically.
Your body heals you. Your body knows how to heal you. We just give it the raw materials and the environment to do so. I tell people that all the time.
And people think that they can do it from just eating a good diet. That's a big problem. Big problem.
Yeah.
And that's why that was one of my problems. I went to organic thinking that's gonna, take care of everything, eating organic gluten pasta, and
you're like, I'm doing great.
And
yeah. Yeah.
Thinking back on it, I mean, I felt horrible after that spaghetti.
Yeah, I agree completely. And I experienced the same thing that you experienced, and probably some of the people that you've dealt with and I've dealt with experience as well, where you're just scared about what to eat. You're like, you don't know what to eat. What do I take? There's like so much information now. You understand? Like, you're like, which way do I go? And I don't think people realize that. Well, it took me a while to realize that. I think a lot of people know about the gut-brain axis, but your gut affects your brain, or your mood, and your mood affects your gut. And so if you're scared about a food, if like you're really nervous about taking this food, or you just know something in there is bad, you're gonna react bad. It's like you're basically making that perception come to life by worrying about it. Your body's gonna prepare. It's gonna tense up. It's gonna do everything. It's gonna have it's gonna go into shock. It's your body is like, basically your gut is having an anxiety attack, and so it's going to prepare. It's going to be preemptive about everything, and that can affect you in such a negative way.
Yeah, the body's compensating when you don't have those nutrients.
Yeah.
So the body's compensating in ways of stealing calcium from your bones in order to compensate for the loss of calcium in your blood.
Mm-hmm.
And calcium's used to put out the fires in your veins. You get too much inflammation.
Mm-hmm.
Calcium comes from your bones. Calcium deficiency also, root cause. But there's so many different things that come into that's just going to the chemistry of the body.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's not getting the things it needs, it compensates for it, and it starts breaking down other things and doing it the other way. And it adapts to that other way for such a long time. And then all of a sudden you get all of the nutrients in you at one time. It's like, okay, you're giving me the nutrients. We got to kick up our jobs again. We got to start doing this thing again. And it's going to take some time for it to start actually doing the healing. But it can start as soon as tomorrow.
Yeah.
Just by quitting the poor 4 foods. You quit the poor 4 foods, it starts.
Yeah.
Inflammation is being put out.
Poor 4 foods. All right. So I wanted to get your opinion on these doctors that attack Dr. Reese. Why do you think that is? Like, what do you think they're trying to do? It's like a hidden agenda or anything?
Really, I think it's an attack on their inner child. I think their inner child is like, you're threatening my profession. You're saying that everything that I'm doing is pointless, or it's something that like they take, like they take him, they get offended by him. They don't get what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
They have been taught the certain way. They've been programmed a certain way since they were born. And now someone's saying that the body can heal itself and you just got to follow this way and give it everything it needs. It's such a different, I mean, they think that people have already done that, and they haven't got results. They don't know that this is the only thing that's happening. He's the only. head to toe healer right now. So I think it'll be a problem that gets more mitigated as, you know, he creates more head to toe healers with his academy coming up.
Oh yeah, for sure. And so with all that hate, you know, what do you think about Dr. Reese taking on that moniker of I'm a fake doctor? Like he finally just said it. Like basically they were like, you're a fake doctor. He was like, and he finally just said, yeah, okay, I'm a fake doctor. And he's like kind of embracing it in a way. How do you feel about that?
I think it's very different. It's a very appropriate way for him to handle the situation, just because it's so different from everyone else in the holistic world. They're, you know, the holistic world will just bounce back and be like, oh, the medical monopoly this, medical monopoly that. But really, it's just a whole information battle, a whole programming battle.
Yeah.
People getting stuck in their heads. Same in the holistic world. Like people, I don't like a lot of people in the holistic world calling out the medical system. I mean, it's a very important system. So it's just a matter of a hierarchy of governance and the corporatocracy that runs this place. We could get really deep into that, but you know, big topic for another day. But really, the corporatocracy is the enemy. The people that pay the corporate, big pharma, and big oil.
Yeah,
I mentioned big oil because they use petroleum in a lot of our food products. So they big story.
No, yeah, absolutely. That's like a rabbit hole in itself. I believe like the same thing as you, you know. I believe the same thing as you. And at first I was like, why is he doing that? Like, you know. But you start to get it, you know. He's like, he technically is a fake doctor, because if we're going by the definition of what doctors are today, they just treat and, you know, give symptom-based options and then give you a drug and then take care of the side effects of the drug with another drug and then so forth and so on until it's like a cocktail of drugs these people are taking. Then he is fake, because he's actually just finding a solution for people. Then once those people find a solution, they learn how to listen to their body in English. They learn how to basically understand what their body is trying to tell them. And so he's not like a doctor. He's not like a medical doctor. He doesn't just have somebody on a medication for the rest of their life. He teaches people how to get off of those medications and help themselves. So quite the opposite.
Yeah, really, the reversal system is it's a whole education program.
Yeah. Teach you how to listen to your body. Wow.
Yeah, like I think just accepting the fake doctor thing, it really like makes him show that he's put a lot of mindfulness into himself, and he's worked on himself so much to, you know, working with him, he's free from emotion. You know, this guy is just doing what he does every day, working, gives us tasks, you know, and ever since working with him, I've gotten so much more mindful myself. You know,
it's contagious.
It's a really great piece, and that's what he's, you know. It comes back to, if you catch what he's putting out, you do, but if you don't, you don't. We have medical doctors all the time coming and agreeing with us. You know, we have medical doctors that are clients themselves.
Yeah.
So
it's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful
thing. And so, really, how long do you think it'll take to get like head to toe healing mainstream as like the rate we're going right now? Do you think it'll be long, or?
So the amount of people, I just heard this on a recent podcast, but I do believe that it is about like 80-20. 80% of people are brainwashed, 20% are in the holistic
Mm-hmm.
health movement, if you want to say. But there's going to be a large portion of the population that doesn't get it, and they're never going to get it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it's spreading faster than ever before because people are waking up to their pain.
Definitely.
It's ultimately pain that's making people realize that, hey, yeah, the stuff that I'm eating is probably not the best for me. I mean, I could be doing better. I mean, at least if they start working out and stop eating junk food, they can get health results,
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like most people understand that, like just on the broader scale, not even the poor for foods. Everyone knows that fake food is just horrible for you.
Yeah, of course. Mm-hmm. But it's so good. And people always, I feel like you can throw food into the category of a drug because it's just like when you tell somebody they can't eat something, it's
Definitely.
some people just don't know how to stop. It's like I heard one person had like withdrawals from not eating gluten anymore.
Yeah. And yeah, I was just going to say, in gluten, there's a protein called gliadomorphin 7, and that gets into your brain and attaches to your morphine receptors.
Oh, wow.
Basically.
So it's basically a drug.
It's like, yeah, a drug, but very, it's going to stimulate your appetite and affect you in very subtle ways as like a drug would.
Wow.
It's not a hard drug. I'm just saying it's like, gluten begets more gluten and food. I can definitely attest to that because when I was eating junk food and stuff, I was eating like loads of goldfish. I mean, I don't even know how much my stomach could take.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's a big reason why it takes so much to heal. Yeah. It takes so long to heal too, just because we've abused our bodies so much.
Look at the base word of gluten, gluttony, or I forget. I looked up like the root, and it was either glut meant like to indulge excessively. So like it's like, why is gluten literally named like that? Like I believe it's like the base word was to indulge excessively, and then I forget what N like the N of gluten meant, but that's just weird because it exactly how it's named, that's exactly what it does to us. It makes people want to eat more and more and more. You can eat so much gluten if you're not careful. It's like it's very easy.
Gives you an iron gut.
Yeah, exactly. And
you don't want an iron gut.
It's crazy. But yeah, I feel like more and more people are waking up to it. I don't think that we see it, of course, because like why would they push that? Like more people are waking up to alternative healing? No, nobody's gonna do that. But I do feel like more people are waking up. You see these diseases happening in earlier and earlier cases. Like for example, everybody knows the diabetes one. It used to be called adult onset diabetes, and now it's just diabetes because kids are getting diabetes. And I remember when I was doing some infusions, when I was doing like blood infusions or like the biologic infusions, I would be in the office and I would see little kids there sitting in the chair. So like that means those little kids were experiencing the same pain I was experiencing. For any parent, that's like, okay, something's wrong. Like no parent had to deal with that 30, 40, 50 years ago. Like why are kids having to experience this type of pain, this type of conditions at such an early age? I remember cancer as well. In my elementary school, and it wasn't even elementary school, it was kindergarten. There was this girl, her name was Ashley. And remember, it was just having fun being kids. And then one day she came in and half of her head was missing. And she had to walk with the oxygen tank. And everybody was like, it was just a weird thing. You didn't really pay much attention to it because she was like, Ashley was still Ashley. It's like, hey, Ashley, what's up? But then one day I just didn't see her anymore. And I still think about that. I'm like, imagine how many kids have to go through that situation where they're having to be on chemo at these early ages and their body is starting to develop. It can't even develop without all of these invasive treatments having to be put on them at such an early age. So I feel like more people are waking up to it because more loved ones are experiencing such traumas, in my opinion.
Yeah. And like you look at all of your family members and what they've been through in the medical system.
Yeah.
That's actually a good challenge for everyone that's watching this. Just look at all of your family members that have went to the medical system and see how they're doing now. And if you happen to have anyone, in the alternative, or they call it the alternative, but the holistic world, their experience is probably very much better, than drug, surgery, injections, having to live off of insurance, basically.
To circle back around to kids getting it earlier and earlier, the significance of the Sunny program that Kevin is putting together. Do you think it's going to have a big impact? Do you think kids are going to catch on to it? And do you think that Sunny is the future? Basically, it's going to save the future, essentially.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Dr. Reese put together a wonderful team of actors, and they're very comedic. I really enjoy all of their presence. The energy is great every time they're here. So it's a matter of time and a matter of production, really, at this point. I believe it's going to change the world. So a couple years ago, I was there's this one Instagram page that was doing something similar. And back then I knew about both of that page, and it was called the Bears to Cubs books. And they were doing something similar. They're teaching, it's pretty much like Boy Scouts for little kids, but in a book. It's like, this is how you cook. This is how you build a shelter. This is survival skills, stuff that's actually important. And I really respect things like that. I have very, very high respect for people that are doing that. And that's what pretty much gave me so much respect for Dr. Reese originally. When I first heard about him, I really liked Sunlight Sonny, and Mr. Junkerson and the whole thing. Like it's just amazing. And I liked it more than the Cubs to Bears community, excuse me. But it's a very great movement. It really separates Dr. Reese from a lot of different people. It's really easy to write a book, but to set up a whole production and shoot this all behind a green screen and have characters and build this team, it's something truly divine, I think. And I think it's going to really kick off next year for sure.
Yeah, how cool is it that I heard they were brainstorming one day, and essentially, as a kid, would you freak out if Elmo just called you up one day and was like, "Hey, Levi, I hear you're not eating. You're not eating healthy." I would freak out. I would start eating healthy that day. And to have something like that, just as a potential feature of the Sunny program, I think that's so big. Just because parents fake on the phone calling Santa Claus or something like that, but to actually get that call from Santa Claus, it would be Sunny, but to actually get that call. And you're like, oh, Sunny's real. You're like, I gotta.
And he knows my name.
It's it's time to eat my vegetables now. But I think that's gonna be a big thing. It's gonna be because kids are very imaginative, and just to put that into their world, they're like, wow, he actually knows who I am.
Hey, Timmy, did you take your non-essential nutrients today?
It's like, whoa. Yeah, I'm trying. But I think that'll be a major influence, a major push.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to see what it turns into, man.
I saw you at the restaurant earlier. I can imagine what that could turn into.
No.
That's yeah, I didn't even hear about that idea.
Yeah, no, that would be amazing, dude.
We just have a team of people that just do that.
Yeah.
Or just like volunteers. Or
Probably Farmer Fred or
we wouldn't even know.
Yeah. That'll be like, I can't wait for it, honestly. I would do anything in my power to help that happen. Because just like when I was a kid, my mom used to, like, for Christmas, she used to have books, you know, every kid had their superhero name and stuff like that. So she would have books where I was the superhero in. And I just felt so special, like, with that. So just imagine, like, someone you look up to or someone that's on TV, this magical thing, is like cares about you and is reaching out to you to help you, you know, try to mentor you a little bit. I think that's going to be a big thing. But yeah.
Yeah. Also, I'm using like snail mail and
yeah. Absolutely. Well, that is the conclusion. I don't have any more questions. You want to leave any thoughts before we go?
No, I think it was a great talk. And
yeah.
It went really well. I think I answered all the questions as I wanted to.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get more questions. Hopefully this is not the last of the LNL podcast. And so, yeah, I hope this answers a lot of people's questions. You know, this brings interest to people. And yeah, I'll see you next time, guys.
Peace.
Peace over pain.
Jumpstart your head-to-toe healing journey with the Dr. Reese book trilogy. Peace Over Pain is the cult classic that explains how head-to-toe healing works and how the medical monopoly doesn't. Reverse the Cause lays out the root causes to over 60 chronic conditions. And Dinner with Dr. Reese is a unique cookbook that contains 100 recipes without the destructive pour for foods. Together, all 3 books set you on a path to head-to-toe healing. Get yours today on Amazon, Audible, or peaceoverpain.com. Also, if you'd like to ask a question, tune in every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern for Dr. Reese Live.